I'm Dale Webb. Texas is full of haunted history. Colburns Bar in Opal, Texas is said to have that history. So join me as we investigate Touring History's Colburns Bar. Ready? Alright, this is James, the owner of Colburns Bar here in Opal, Texas. Mind telling us a little bit about the previous owner that was here?
Previous owner, his name was Al. He had this bar for a number of years. It was called the Back Door at the time. I believe most of the components in the bar were moved from another location. So a lot of the stuff was brought to this location. His previous locations, I guess. He was Arab descent, Muslim guy, and he and his son worked together, from what I understand, a lot. His son helped him. A lot of his friends are still my customers here at the bar.
So a lot of customers that come in here actually knew the previous owner.
Right, yeah, knew him personally, and he liked to play pool. He was an avid pool player. He would challenge some of our regular customers to tournaments and make money, probably bet. But he seemed to be a pretty good guy, from what I understand. Was dating a young lady that was seeing somebody else, from what I understand. And she, the night that he killed herself, found out. She didn't come into the bar to tell him that she was leaving. And that's one thing I think that triggered his actions that night.
How many people were in the bar when this took place?
I understand it was a Friday night, I believe. You'd have to verify that. I have some customers that you can talk to who were actually not here, they were in the area. But they wouldn't be able to tell you specifics. But the way I was told is, it was a Friday night, the place was packed, and what happened was after he killed himself at the back door, they locked the front doors and the cops came and they made everybody stay in there while they questioned everybody, and they took tests for gunpowder residue and things like that. And the way it was told to me is that there were a few things that happened that night. One guy had a diabetic attack, if you would. He was in here and he didn't have his medicine, and they wouldn't let him leave. And he actually fell out, and they had to call an ambulance for him.
And this is while
This
there's...
was after the moment, yeah, at the time when all that was going down.
Wow.
So there was a lot of chaos that night. I believe this was in 97 or 98.
Okay.
I'd have to do some research on that date again.
Okay. Well, would you mind taking us around the bar and showing us
Let's go.
your hot spots?
Sure. Right here where you're standing, it was told to us by a previous investigation that there's a cold spot in between the L and the B on this wall here. This logo was painted by me. When I first got in this bar, it was just a complete mess, and I can show you pictures of that. I started with ripping everything out and redoing all the wiring and changing all the colors and took all the carpet and all the glue up. And while I was in here working, I always felt like somebody was watching me from day one. So, but I didn't have proof of it because I didn't have cameras, I didn't have anything like that. I would just hear stuff and feel stuff.
Right.
And then my dad and my family who were helping me in here would also hear stuff. My dad claims that he hears people going in and outside. The door has a beeper on it for an alarm.
Right.
And we still to this day we hear it going off all the time and nobody's coming in or out.
Now behind this wall, there's nothing, right? It's just the back wall, the back of the building.
Right.
No pillars.
It's just a back wall, it's just a brick wall. But this is supposedly a cold spot right in between this L and the B here. And depending on the weather, I mean, obviously you can feel it different times. Right now it's cold outside, so it's hard to tell. This is just a pool, table side, the game side. We've got your games going and stuff like that
Is
on
the
this
bar
side.
pretty much set up basically the same way when the previous owner had it?
I believe so. The bar is mainly laid out for the previous guy that had it. When it was Kick Dogs, it was called Kick Dogs when I got it. It had been closed for 6 months. So this is where all of his stuff was. But they used to have us, yeah.
It was a kind of a rowdy place, King Dogs.
Very, very rowdy place. And they had a lot of things that happened in here that I believe add to the story of maybe things that we've heard or seen or something like that. So It was very rowdy, and it was known for very rowdy. And I've had to really fight to overcome that bad reputation. Right. It's really almost cost me my business. Really, that reputation has, because once it gets in, it's hard to get it out.
Let me ask you, being a musician, have you ever come across a club that's had this type of feeling before?
No, I never have.
That's the only one. Yeah. And you've been playing for.
I've been playing for about 17 years. I have a band, James Colburns band, and we play primarily country and southern rock. And I've played in all kinds of places, and never have had this kind of thing going on. We haven't never really had an experience while playing, but electrical issues and lights going out, and things happening like that, we've had that in here.
Now you've had paranormal companies come in and do their
we've had
investigations.
several. Yeah, we've had about 5 different groups come in over the period when we started first noticing the activity, and every single one of them have found something in here, including the most basic amateur group to the most skilled technology-wise, all the fancy gadgets. So really scientific. You can find we're getting proof on all across the board on all of it. So
that's awesome. You're keeping a record and a journal of everything that's happening.
Right.
Can you show us the location where?
Yeah, come on back here.
Like a burrito?
Okay. This is the office location. This is where he was last. We've had a lot of activity in the hallway. One night, one of my bartenders was cleaning, and she said, if we got ghosts in here, I wish one of them would pick up a broom or a mop. And when she said that, the top, the ice machine scooper here flew off the machine and into the hallway. So she decided that was enough for her that night. She went ahead and went home. As far as the back door is concerned, this is the location where he shot himself. And a paramedic came in one night, the night actually that the show aired on Sci-Fi, and said that he was the paramedic that responded, and told me how the guy was laying and what happened that night. And he actually died here at the location, the guy did, and that there was no saving him. He put a revolver to his head. That was it. Now, again, the place was packed with people, and they locked the doors, and they kept everybody here while they did the investigation. I think Humboldt police responded. It's either Humboldt or Harris County. So.
Well, we can do some research and get some more information.
Right.
You said there's a spot out here in the middle of the floor where you've got some activity.
This side of the bar is real active. This spot right here in front of the jukebox is crazy busy with activity. They also seem to be moving from this direction this way, and they go into the bathroom and they float around in this area here. It's picked up by my infrared cameras, and as far as the bathrooms have always been there in the same spot. Right. So it's been the same location for all the bars. So who knows why or what. We have had doors opening in the women's bathroom by themselves and closing during the night, stuff like that. So,
well, I see that you're pretty well covered as far as cameras, night vision cameras. Yeah. You're catching your own stuff and you're airing it on YouTube.
Yeah, I just uploaded it to YouTube, and it's mainly just a educational kind of a thing. I'm not making any money off of it, certainly not, which I was, but that ain't the case. But really, honestly, it's just for people to look at it, and if there's anybody out there that knows what the world I'm looking at, that's mainly why we're doing it.
Right. Well, it's a beautiful bar. I mean,
well, thank you. We've done a lot of work on it. The line of seating over here on the back, the night that the ashtray exploded, that day I had actually won an auction, and I won all of that seating at a restaurant auction in Houston.
Wow, okay.
And I brought it in, and I changed up the entire layout of the bar. And that was the very same day that ashtray exploded. So it's almost like I didn't ask his permission to change the bar, and he was
So he was a little upset with it.
He was going to get mad with that.
So you get the feeling that the previous owner still
I know
thinks he owns the bar.
Well, we had another episode where one night we were cleaning up, Crystal and I, and it was just us in here. And I walked around the back of through the bar area. I looked down at the mats and I said, you know what, the floor looks really good tonight. We usually take the mats up to clean them nightly. But I said, you know what, there hadn't been that much going on tonight. Let's just leave the mats down and we'll pull them up tomorrow night. No sooner than I got back into the bathroom and started mopping, she went to the back to get ice. Well, we have a beer cooler, and one of the drains, it goes to like a gravity drain.
Right, okay.
And if you open the little valves on the beer boxes, there's just that one that goes to that one particular drain. If you open it up wide open, it'll flood the floor. So we don't ever do that. We open it maybe a quarter of a turn at the most. I mean at the very most. So what ended up happening was I go to the back to mop the bathrooms, and she comes out and the floor is flooded. Somebody or something had cranked that thing up all the way and flooded the entire floor, so that I would have to mop, so that I would have to take the mats up. So does he think, yeah,
it's not clean enough?
Hey buddy, I own this bar, you don't. That's the feeling I got. And I actually even said it. Oh, I see, I see. I work for you now. Okay, well, let's get the mats up and mop, because we had to, because it was flooded.
You ever catch yourself talking to him in here sometimes?
No, just when I'm mad, frustrated, you know. I know how hard the bar business is. I know how much money you make in it. It's really, really hard to make a living in the bar business because it's regulated so much by the state, by the alcohol, you know, and they have to. But as an owner, it's really difficult. You have to be real careful. Walk a thin line. If you're an honest guy, you almost starve to death.
Right. I can understand that.
As a musician, it's much more fun.
This is a beautiful bar.
I used to never have to mop floors in between songs, but now imagine playing your own bar and then having to mop the
Mop the
bathroom.
floor afterwards, yeah.
In between sets.
I can understand that. I've been there. Been there. Right here, he showed us a video earlier of he had some orbs flying, and it looked like snow actually inside the building.
Yes.
And they were flying around, and they were shooting all through the room, and they started going directly into the concrete.
We're not sure what's going on underneath that concrete, or if somebody died there, if somebody was buried there, if somebody forgot to remove something there when this place was built. This center's been here since the 70s. So this center was here for a long time. This shopping center is called Crossroads. Crossroads has had several owners, and it has a history in the area. And certainly this bar's been here or a bar's been in this location for 25 years. It's been 5 different names. I'm the 5th name, 5th owner. And so it's a nice little location. But you know, sometimes these things scare people off, and sometimes they bring them in. You never know what you're going to get. Yeah, the activity in here certainly has scared some people off. At times they come in and want to say, yeah.
It's a little weird.
Feel something weird?
Yeah, a little awkward. Yeah. A little breeze.
You might want to look at that video later on.
I haven't seen anything.
Okay, anyway, back to business.
When you're talking about them, they like
Let
this.
you know
They
that
like
they're
this attention. They like the attention. Now you're talking about hot spots. This is the area right here. This is where the bar, where the ashtray blew up right here. This is blew up right here. This is also where I asked about I asked questions one time, and one of their little meters lit up like crazy. So this is a real hot spot. This is where the owner used to sit. The old owner that killed himself used to sit on this spot right in here, and he sat right down here. And on the Sci-Fi channel, this is where they found the hot spot on the bar. And this is where he sat. And my theory on that was it was his arm. He used to sit right here.
Like he's talking to a patron here.
Like he's sitting here at the bar.
And this is one of the ashtrays though right there.
Yes, it's just a standard glass ashtray. There's nothing special about it. There's no, we don't have dishwasher here. The dishwasher is a 3-compartment dishwasher, so we do our own dishwashing.
Pretty thick ashtray.
And I have the original ashtray. I have the ashtray that was shattered. I have the glass that's been thrown at the sci-fi people. I kept all of that stuff because I figured somebody might want to test it for explosives or something one of these days, because they wouldn't believe the videos that we get out of here.
We can help you with that. Hook you up with the right people.
You know, I can give you a piece of that. You can test it and see if it's ever been blown up. Because I promise you it has not. I have trouble getting people out of here at 2 a.m. in the morning. I don't have time to blow up ashtrays. And if I did, I'd do it every weekend, and it'd be a sideshow. But I don't know anything about that. So
now, right over there, y'all had a table of customers, and there was a picture taken.
right, the night that was the night of a high school reunion. We had C.E. King. I graduated from C.E. King High School in Northeast Houston, Sheldon, and we had a huge turnout that night, and nobody was smoking at the table. There isn't smoking allowed in here, but and they snapped some pictures and wrote me and said, "Hey, you know, look at the smoke in your bar. This is crazy." And I said, "No, it's not smoke." I mean, and you know, if you want that picture, if you want that picture, you can put it on your show. I'll give that picture
I
to
saw
you
that
as well.
photo, and it didn't look like cigarette smoke to me. I'm not a smoker, by the way.
Yeah. So you know, who knows? Who knows?
Right.
That's not the only one. We've got other pictures that have been taken. So whenever you come to this bar and take pictures of birthday parties and stuff, make sure you look real close. I also have another picture that I showed you with the face looking back
Right,
at
the
me.
face, yeah.
And that was taken over in this very same area.
I can tell you that was strange. That was weird.
Very, very crazy. That's the only picture that has kept me up at night thinking about it. Oh, you know, give me the chills, you know.
Yeah, it's funny. Our show is about Texas history. You know, we don't really, you know, concentrate a whole bunch on the paranormal, but for a building that's only been here since the 70s, a lot of activity and a lot of stories behind it.
Exactly.
That counts as history.
One of these, the way I understand it is this was on the trail to San Jacinto, obviously. You had people riding through the woods on the way to the Battle of San Jacinto. And in fact, right down the road, they've got markers, historical markers, where things have happened with Santa Anna's group and all that stuff. So, really, honestly, who knows what happened out here in these woods when they were woods?
It's true.
You know, and I really just don't know enough about, you know, my history of this location. I know that this was once the old Atascocita Trail that they took en route to Mexico. So, that's mainly all I know. I wish I could help you out more on that.
Well, Humboldt's an old boom town, so
Exactly.
Tell them what
No telling what happened here. That's right.
Stories just never end.